Hi everybody, my name is Mariah. I am a library assistant here in the Adult Services Department at the Wilson County Library, and today we are going to be making one of these. This is a book wreath made with recycled paper. It's actually recycled Reader's Digest books from, I believe, the 60s, so don't worry, we're not harming anything. I want to say important, but that seems rude. All right, so to do this project, you can follow along with me. You can follow along with the instructions you got if you got a craft bag from us, or you can put together your own craft bag if you want. So what comes in the craft bag is this. It's a 14-inch cardboard cake plate. You could use a pizza circle if you want, or you could cut your own cardboard circle out if you've got a bunch of cardboard. Ours are marked with a diagram already because it makes it easier for you to follow along and make sure that it is a circular pattern and it doesn't get crooked. The next thing will be some book pages. You'll need about 60. That's probably a little more than you'll need, really, but it's better to have more in case you mess up one or two, in case you find that you need more cones in your wreath. The next thing will be this cone rolling template. This is what you'll use to roll your cones with, your paper cones. The next thing will be this 6-inch piece of poster board. It doesn't have to be exactly 6 inches, but you want it big enough so that you can glue your circle motif onto, and that is the next piece of your craft bag, is this. What this is just about, not quite 6 inches, it has to be a little smaller to fit on the square, but it is a circle with a little motif in it that you will glue on, and it's been printed on book paper, and this is what will go in the center of your book wreath. Okay, and that is what and you'll also have this paper clip. It's going to come attached to the circle, but I'm going to show you how to attach it beforehand, just in case you are following along without a craft bag and you are going from scratch. So what else? The other things you'll need are just a little piece of duct tape, plenty of clear tape, either a stick of glue or liquid school glue. That'll be fine, because that is what you're going to be gluing your circle motif onto your poster board with. And the last thing you'll need is, well, not the last thing, you'll also need scissors. But the last thing you'll need is either a hot glue gun or, again, a stick of glue or liquid glue. I recommend the hot glue gun for gluing the cones onto the wreath because it's quicker. But if you don't have one, then that's fine. You'll just have to let them sit a while before you glue on your next round. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach our paper clip. Now our paper clip is going to work as a hook so that you can hang your wreath. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of bend it. Let's see if you can, hopefully you can see. Bend it out so that this is a hook, and then these little pointy pieces we're going to stab through. And I'm going to start on the front just so I know that I am starting at a top. And it doesn't matter which line you use, but you may want to mark it with an arrow pointing up so that you know which way is up, so that when you glue your circle motif on, you'll know, again, which way is up. But I'm going to just poke it through on the line. Make sure it goes all the way through the back, and it does. Then I'm going to take it out because we want the pointy bits to be on the inside, because we are going to tape them down with our duct tape. And then we'll just take a little piece of duct tape and tape the pointy ends down so that we can glue our cones onto it and also not stab ourselves. But now you've got a little hook to hang it on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make about 60 cones. Okay. I'm going to trim the glue ends off. There we go. And there's two ways to do this. So you can put it in, want to put the corner of your mold into one of the corners of the paper. And it doesn't matter which corner, but you're probably going to want to be consistent so that they all look the same. You can also mix and match and do every other one a different direction if you want. That's very fancy. I am not that talented, so I'm just going to be doing them all in the same corner. And so whichever corner you choose, you'll fold down the shortest end first, then fold over the long end, and then we're going to stick a piece of tape on it. Take it out, and now we've got a cone. So I will show you again. I stuck mine in the left-hand corner because I'm left-handed and I like to do things on the left. But you will fold over the short end, then fold over the long end, then tape it together. All right. And I've already got some made here so that you don't have to watch me make 60 of these. So we'll start, I'm going to glue 4. I'm going to put one here, 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 and here. And you'll also want something, you can use a pen. I have got an extra glue stick here, but just something that you can stick in and press down to just sort of hold it. You can use your fingers, but that's a great way to get burned. So I don't recommend it if you're using hot glue. So we've got our first cone. You see how I glued. So this is going to be the front end, and then this is the back end. And so I glue directly on the cardboard and glue directly on the line. And stick the bottom half, and then I have my implement to hold it down. Now I'm gluing on the tape, and it doesn't smell great, but it's not dangerous. It just stinks a little bit. All right, and now we've got our 4 corners. So the reason that we're doing it this way is because we're going to set up ourselves a pattern. And what I do is we'll find the halfway point between each of these. So, and it doesn't have to be exact. So you don't need to break out the measuring tool. But we'll try our best. All right, it should look something like this. And you don't have to glue them all at once. You can do section by section. I'm just doing it this way so I can show you. And the next thing we'll do is we'll start at the bottom here. See, because this is our top and this is our bottom. And you can always tell which is the top by just flipping it around and looking at your hook. Or you can be smart, like I'm not, and draw an arrow on it, like I said earlier. And what we're going to do is again find the halfway point between two of these. And I find that this helps me stay even, because if you try and glue them just right next to each other, they start getting lopsided after a while. So if you glue, let's see if we did one right here, right next to it, and then right here next to that one, and then right there next to that one, and you can see how they're already kind of curving inward. We don't want that. And so it's going to look like there are some gaps in between, but our second row of cones will cover that right up. And then the motif covers up any gaps you have on the second row. So you're good. And then I'm just going to stick one in right there. And now we've got one section done. And like I said, you'll see it kind of looks like there are gaps in between, but it'll get covered up. So don't worry about that if you see gaps in your wreath. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next section, find the halfway point, put on a cone. Then put a cone right between these two. All right, so we're about a quarter of the way done now, and I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this outer ring and then show you how we do the second half. All right, and we are all done with our first row, and it should look something like this. And then we'll start on the second row, and the second row works the same way. I'm gonna grab 4. I've got one on this first line here, and I'll show you. So I got one there, and then I'll put one here, here, and here. And you're gonna press it down. And it might seem like you're squashing the first row, but don't worry, it'll be just fine. You just want to definitely make sure that you get it glued down, because you want it to stick. You don't want it to come off at some point. Now that we've got our second 4 in, I'm gonna start right here. Let's see if I can hold it up. I'm gonna start right here. We're again about the halfway point, and just put one there. And if you find that one of your cones does get a little squashed, you can always stick something round in it and just kind of poke it back into place. Okay, now that we've got those in place, you may notice that the spaces in between these 8 are smaller than they were in the other 8. So what I'm just going to do is put 2 cones in there instead of 3, because we're not going to get 3. Okay, and then we'll just fill in the rest of these gaps. All right, we are almost done. The next thing to do is to glue the motif together and then put it in the center of the circle. So you can choose any photo you want. We will give you one. And if you decide you want another, you can always just print one off. But I'm gonna take my glue and just kind of because I don't want it to peel later. Okay. And now I'm going to cut it out. Cut the circle out. All right. Now I'm going to double check that which way is up, and it's this way. And I'm going to put the glue on the tips of these cones right here. I'm just gonna and just squash it on. And there you go. Now you have your own beautiful homemade book paper wreath. I hope you enjoyed the craft, and give it a like on our Facebook or our YouTube page, wherever you're viewing this, and check out some of our other videos. We've got lots of other crafts for adults and for kids, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.